Hello and welcome. I would like to tell you, well, actually two little stories today, which will show you how the whole ministry that my team and I are involved in started. The first is actually a story that is called The Prince in the Paint Pot. I participated in a training program a few years ago and I was challenged to write a short story. I don't usually write short stories, but since I had encountered this exercise before, I was not surprised that at the end we were challenged to share our story with the other participants. I prayed about what I should write and pretty soon a story formed which shed light on how I came to do art. A few years ago there was a little prince. He wasn't that little, actually. He had already been married for a while and was taking care of his growing family. But he felt little. One day he went into an unused room of his castle. As it was dark in there, he tripped over something and fell into a giant paint pot. He didn't know where he had landed and wondered what sequence of events had left him in this predicament. He called for help and someone switched on the light. When he realized where he was, his first reaction was to jump out of the paint pot, since he wanted to clean himself up quickly. But as he watched an array of colors dripping from him, he decided to stay in the pot and have some fun. I told this story to illustrate how I started on the road as an artist. I fell into it without prior warning, and the color and the life contained within have kept me splashing about for many years. After I had shared my story, another participant commented that she saw me sitting in the paint pot having fun and splashing around. As I was splashing, the people around me asked, "What is he doing? Who is he?" However, as the colorful paint landed on them, all of a sudden they were in their own paint pots and started to have fun splashing in their own ways. I believe I am called to encourage others to discover their own creative calling. It has also become clear that I have a mandate to intercede creatively as I walk alongside others in their creative journeys. So how did this come about practically? Well, 9 years ago, my wife gave me chalk pastels and art paper for Christmas. I opened the present and I looked at them and I said, "What are these?" And she said, "Chalk pastels and paper." And I said, "Why?" And she said she didn't know, she just had the impression that she should give these to me. So I smiled, I said thank you, and I put them on a shelf. 3 months later, during one of my own prayer times in the house of prayer where I was serving at that point, God told me to take the chalk pastels and the art paper to my own next prayer time. And I said, "What for?" And I felt God say, "To draw." And I said, "I can't draw. And how do I know what to draw?" And God said, "I will show you what to do." So I took the chalk pastels, I started to draw. And what happened over the next year was that I would draw every week, either in my own prayer time or during the public worship evening that we had once a week in the house of prayer. And every painting spoke to me. Every painting spoke about some healing God wanted to do in my life. So I embarked on a journey of healing through creativity for a whole year. And then one evening during the public worship, I drew a picture that didn't speak to me. So I prayed and I said, "Did I not understand something? Did I make a mistake?" And God said, no, this is right, but this painting is not for you. At the end of the evening, I would like you to give the painting to someone who is here and explain it to them. And I think I said out loud, you must be kidding. I'm not going to do that. So I argued with the Lord, as I still often do. I usually lose, so I lost the argument that time also. And at the end of the evening, I took the painting, God told me who it was for. I went over to this lady, I gave it to her and explained it to her, and to my utter embarrassment, she started to cry. Once she had finished, she explained to me what it meant for her. I talked to her mother, who is a friend of mine, a few years later, and she told me that the painting was still up on her daughter's bedroom wall. And although I didn't understand really that evening what had happened, that started me on the next phase of my journey, which led into interceding for others creatively, painting prophetically for others, establishing workshops, running conferences, and finally ending up teaching on how to do prophetic art, how to reach out with it, and how to intercede with it. So, there you are. God can do amazing things, especially when we don't expect them to happen. Bless you.